Hello and welcome to the Fun in the Sun, the new series of the Algarve Sevens. Well, the biggest summer tournament in Portugal, in the Iberian Peninsula. Excuse me for trying to promote it a bit strongly. And with me today, I have Dallen Stanford and Tom Mitchell. You know these two voices from the World Series. Dallen played. Tom, I think, also had a short gig in rugby, but I'm not I'm not 100% sure. But they were in Algarve. They experienced the sevens in the sun, and they have so many stories to tell you and why you should be there when 2025 comes. Dallin, I start with you first because you were from the both of you. You were the first one to got on board of the sevens in the sun. Um, why? And after enjoying your first edition, what is your opinion about it? Did you fall in love with it? Do you think it should continue to go forward? So please share your experience with us.
Thanks, Francisco. Yes, the Algarve Sevens was absolutely amazing. I brought the wife along as well. You know what they say, happy wife, happy life. So she loved it. She has Portuguese heritage as well. And so for her to go back to, some of her roots was amazing. But the event itself, from the start to the finish, with the pre-events to the post-events, I was almost in a hot air balloon dangling over, the thousands of fans that were there. The games were fantastic. Several different sports on display. And of course, teaming up with Mitchie was definitely a dream come true.
Yeah, Mitch, what was your opinion for coming to the Sevens in the Sun?
Well, first and foremost, I think I had to go just to keep an eye on Dallen. Most of the time when he's on the mic, I just have to be in the vicinity to make sure that, what goes out there is legit. Um, Dallen, great reference, the hot air balloon. Let's not let people forget that. It kind of didn't quite get off the ground, literally and metaphorically, on that stunt last year, but let's make that happen. But that kind of sums it up, doesn't it? It's kind of a crazy time. It's like so much spontaneous energy. Everyone's there, ready to have fun. And it was my first time experiencing it. I never had the good fortune of being out there as a player, so getting out there and watching all the action was amazing. And it's morning till night, and for some people, long into the night after the sports have finished and all the celebrations. But it's just such a buzz the whole time. So it was a really great occasion. And before it even finished, actually, the 2024 event, Dan and I were saying, right, like, let's get it on. Let's get back here again.
Yeah, Tom, talking about that and just picking up that last part, you were before the tournament has ended, you were already thinking about 2025. So the question is simple: why should teams from all over the world come to Vila Santo António and, well, not only playing the rugby, because there's a netball, there's beach volleyball, there will be more sports this year. So why should they come? How can you give us a list of things that made you, promote the event?
Well, I've been very lucky. I've had lots of experiences in my life where I've been able to go around the world to amazing places with a group of people who I love hanging out with. And that's what these events are all about. That's what the Algarve Sevens is all about, is getting your mates, getting a team that you play with, and going and creating some memories that will last a lifetime. Whatever sport you're playing in, at whatever level, whether you're going out for the trophy, whether you're there to have a good time, it's an awesome place to do it. That's the other thing that we're fortunate over here, Dallen. Obviously, we're a stone's throw from the Algarve, and we're fortunate that occasionally we get to go on holiday down that way. We forget it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. So to go down there with your mates, make some memories, and have a great time in a beautiful part of the world, what's not to like?
Yeah, so beautifully well put. Dallen, I think one of the strongest points of the Algarve Sevens, it's the distance between, the Vila Real de Santónio and where the sports complex is not that far. You can just walk for 25 minutes or go in a bicycle or whatever. So aside from that, what jumped into your eyes as being great about Algarve Sevens?
Yeah, well, one thing I love is, so Mitch and I do get to go around the world. A lot of rugby events we attend, obviously, but there are not many events where you've got a bunch of other sports on the go. And I think that's pretty cool because you get to mix and interact with all sorts of different sports. And I thought that was quite a cool atmosphere that provided that beautiful stadium as well. As you mentioned, the beaches, the beach bars, the restaurants, there's a whole holiday vibe, which was great. And yes, everybody's taking part in their sport. And like Mitchy said, it doesn't matter what level. If you're there for social, you're there for a vibe. There was a couple of different groups that were just there to party. So they weren't there taking part, but that's what you love about it. Everybody kind of coming together, which I think is so great. The weather's fantastic and the location's amazing. The people are brilliant. You really can't go wrong. And so that's why I urge people, even if you're just coming along to holiday and watch some all these sports, you're going to see, like you said, I think there are 7 or 8 sports happening, several new ones added. Mitchie and myself may obviously be out there trying one of these new sports. Who knows?
Well, yeah, I have a list of the sports. But we have golf and netball and rugby, which we had already in 2024 and 2023. But now flag football is in, paddle, open water swimming, beach tennis, beach hockey. I'll start with flag football, Dallen, because I know that you are in the United States. It's a big thing over there. So can you explain to the new fans that don't know much about flag football why they should be so expectant of it when the next edition of the Algarve Sevens come?
Oh, well, most of the passes I threw were going forward anyway in the game of rugby. So this is just an easy transition into flag football. But I'll tell you what's cool about it is, look, it's obviously players that may not never have played the game can still come and try it out. And that's the cool thing. It's not like going to be a professional level elite athletes kind of doing it. Flag rugby is obviously very popular here in the US, as is flag football. So I think it's a nice, easy transition to players wanting to come along and try something new, have fun, get a group together, throw the ball around. I think, talking about which sports could go well, I think Mitchie could be a paddle player for sure. I mean, he's got the hair, he's got the flow, he's got the skills. I've got him to win it.
Do you know what? I actually have my own paddle as well. So I'll bring it down in the summer. I've got a spare one, Dallen, so I can bring one for you. Maybe we can have a game.
Yeah, please.
I'll take
pickleball
you
to pickleball's huge.
Yeah,
here,
you
so
should,
I
you should know what you're doing. Yeah, easily transferable. I'll take you to the cleaners though.
Tom, would you like to be in the same team as Dallen or against Dallen?
Actually, maybe we could put out applications. People can choose to play with, apply to play with me or apply to play with Dallen. So we'll play against each other. People can apply to be our partners. Maybe we'll have some sort of trial, and then it'll all go down on the paddle courts. But I think that's probably manageable for us at our current levels of physicality. I'm not sure I back myself in the open water swimming. Dallen, you good in the water?
No, I struggle in a swimming pool that's 4 meters wide. So yeah, no, don't put me in the water.
Yeah, I'm always a bit nervous just getting in the bath. But yeah, and what the beach tennis that's in as well, isn't it? This year, that's a new one. Fancy a bit of that.
Oh.
Yeah, beach tennis and what's the
beach
remind
hockey.
me again? Beach hockey.
Hockey.
Hockey. I played. My parents were big hockey players back in the day.
Talk it up. Here he comes. Look
out.
Yeah, put me on.
Well, there's a buffet of sports for you to try to watch, and maybe you can have a chance to try out. But Tom, the Sevens in the Sun, or let's call it the Fun in the Sun, is much more than the sporting event. There's also activities outside of it. Last year we had music concerts, people cutting hair, doing tattoos. Dallen didn't do tattoo, unfortunately, but he cut his hair. So what did you think about it? I know you played in so many tournaments in Las Vegas, Dubai, Hong Kong. So how would you rate Algarve Sevens in trying to be more than a sporting event, to be a event full packed with action?
I'm loving reminiscing, because how many places can you go to a sporting event and get your hair cut or get a tattoo? And it's the best Dallen's looked for a while. So he's itching to get back there and get another trim. And maybe we'll get joint tattoos, Algarve Sevens. But I mean, it's just great. It's like part of the spontaneous fun of the event. And that's what sport is about, especially these days. We've seen it going that way, where people want to go and not just watch their sport or play their sport that they're really into, but they want to absorb some other stuff, whether that's watching or supporting other sports, or also just like having fun, listening to some good music. getting their hair cut. And I enjoy those novel things. I think throwing some of those things that are unique to the Algarve Sevens. I've certainly never been to a sporting event where you can also get a little trim and get some ink while you're out there. So I think that's what it's all about going to these things and actually not taking yourself too seriously. I think sport has a habit of doing that sometimes, and we see it all the time. So that's what's so good about the Algarve Sevens is just everyone's there having fun, ready to see a few surprises as well. And I'm sure there'll be a few other things like the balloon that we'll chuck out for the fans this year.
Dallen, and
Yeah.
I know that you enjoyed a lot. You came a bit early than Tom, and you browsed around, you walked, you tried to find out a bit about Algarve, and so what you thought about those events, because you really enjoyed everything to the tiniest detail. So tell us your experience about it.
Yeah, I liked the right away in the beginning. So teams arrive, a few days before the event, and then they have a welcoming party. And I think it's very cool because, like Mitchie was saying, a lot of times you arrive for a tournament, it's just your team. It's quite insular, and then you get to an event and you play the opponents, and you maybe only meet the teams later. Well, this time everybody came out for it. Everybody dressed up as well. Some teams who were on the social side of things were having a few quiet jars, on the Friday or Thursday before, which I thought was cool. It's really good team building. All the staff and coaches were around there too, so it's really good to kind of hang out and get that atmosphere going. So
Dallen
I love
had a couple of jars as well, didn't you, mate?
Of course. The voice was good. You got to soothe down the golden nectar. So that was really good. I love that. And you said the proximity of everything. So from the hotels where all the teams and players, everybody's staying, you just a quick little walk, and then you're all of a sudden on the boardwalk, which has obviously a bunch of restaurants, a bunch of bars, and the water's right there. So I think that vicinity was very cool. I love being at the event itself and having that music concert afterwards. That was very cool because everybody kind of came together. There was food vendors, drinks if you wanted. You mentioned that tattoo artist. Getting a haircut. That's so random, but so amazing that he was there. The hot air balloon will take off next year. I know I'm gonna sign the waivers. My wife didn't let me this time, but I'm in for next year.
The other thing, a lot of teams, didn't they? They made a whole long trip out of it. So some people came as a group and tagged on a couple of days before, a couple of days afterwards, doing different things, just staying out, playing a couple of extra rounds of golf or whatever it is, because it's a great spot to do that.
Yeah, and talking about spots, let's go for the location because Dallen already said, and Tom also said that it was one of the most beautiful places on our little planet. So, Dallen, as I said already, that you explored the Algarve a bit, but can you explain in your words why you thought that Vila Real Santo António was, I won't say magical because it sounds a bit cringe, but why Vila Real Santo António matters and why people should give it a chance to go there, not only to go for the Sevens in the Sun, but to really delve into in that city and to try enjoy the full extent of it offers.
Yeah, it's a very manageable city. I think that's important too, because sometimes you go travel around to new countries and new places, and it's hard to get around. You don't know where to be and what to do. But I think this is so nice because you literally are the downtown central area. Tons of little shops, little restaurants, little bars, and it's easy to walk around. Obviously, the water's right there, so you can't miss it. So if you love spending time on the beach, it's a beautiful time of year, June. The weather's normally brilliant. You can obviously, for Mitchie and those folks that don't really have suntans, it's great to get in there to get that going, which is awesome. And then to explore the area where the people are so friendly and so nice. The stadium itself, also, like I say, it's a beautiful stadium that has a lot of fields with the surrounding events going on. So with that, it's cool because sometimes you go to an event and everything's so spread out, right? This is really nice where you're going to have the beach where all the activities will be, and then you've got the stadium where mostly everything else is going on. Yes, golf will probably be a little further out, but everything else is so central. Like you mentioned, that little walk. We obviously just took the bicycles out or catch a little quick Uber. Everything's 5 minutes away, which is perfect.
Mitch.
Yeah, it's on and also the Algarve. I think again, we're fortunate that we get to pop over there. It's pretty accessible for us over in the UK. Nice little short flight, and you're in this amazing place. And it's all the little towns you can visit in that area as well. For those who have the luxury of a couple of days either side to do it, it's just a lovely spot to go and visit. I think particularly. You're probably spoiled, Dallen. Like you don't get places like that over in the States. It's a little bit different. You got some nice spots, but it's not the same because it's the cultural side as well. So that's the beauty when you travel with friends. You travel especially if you're traveling with your sports team and you're using that as the excuse to go and have this cool cultural experience, this opportunity to travel and see a different part of the world and a beautiful part of Portugal.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, well, Dylan also was saying about the grounds and the main pitch. Uh, for me, it was crisp. What do you think, Tom? I know you've enjoyed a lot of some of the best grounds in the world, and Dylan as well when both of you play in the World Series. But what was your opinion about it? What do you think about the main pitch?
Yeah, it was superb. We actually went down a couple of times to film some content, and I think I went down barefoot just to really soak up the electrons through the earth and ground myself on there. But I did get excited. You know, when you get that feel when you're on a good surface, a good bit of turf, and you just want to run around, get the ball going. And I had that feeling out there. And then someone promptly told me to get back upstairs and get on the microphone. But yeah, it's a lovely setup. Not only a good field, but that stadium's really cool. Creates a really cool atmosphere. You get the other teams out around the edges, and it's got that. The other thing about the rugby tournament specifically is it's definitely got that old school sevens festival vibe, which is really hard to come by nowadays. I suppose one of the most famous examples would be the Dubai Sevens, actually, that do that really well, where they get all the teams, and there is this kind of groundswell of excitement that builds as the tournament goes on. But that's the same across all the sports at the Algarve Sevens. They've all got their little setups that create this kind of festival feel, which creates a lot of fun. It creates a lot of smiles, and it actually creates some good competition as well, because we've talked a lot about the fun and the experience of it all, but the reality is the facilities are there to accommodate some real high-level competition. We were calling the rugby all weekend last year, and it was superb. The standard was brilliant, some of the best at that level you'll see, and it was a joy to watch. So whilst we're talking a lot about the fun and talking about Dallen getting on the jars pre-tournament, let's not forget there's some serious sport that goes down. For those who want to go with a competitive team, this is the place to go.
Yeah, and also, Mitch, I'll add to that, which is so great, is and you're involved in quite a few of them. The hot stepping competition, the 1v1, it was very cool to see it happening on the field. And now that everyone knows about it, I'm sure we'll get a lot of contestants coming out next year. And you may have to bring your boots, because we may have to have a commentating one-on-one deal.
Oh, it's on.
Oh, we'll go. I have some quick fire questions for you in the end, and one of those is going to be about it. Dallen, when the event was going on, you sometimes, when you changed with Tom in the commentary, went down to watch a bit of the fun in the other fields. It was not only the sevens. You went to the netball. You went you couldn't go to the golf, but you were there watching everything. So what was in the field hockey? Sorry, which we won't have this year. But what was the feeling that you got from visiting those pitches and visiting those sports? What was the environment, the atmosphere?
Yeah, it was great. Very supportive environment. You have a lot of people watching all the other teams, currently playing. So it was kind of cool to go around. Everybody's kind of cheering. Somebody would run through and dive for a try and drop it, and then people are like, "Ooh," So it was good engagement, I think, from the fans watching. The netball was really cool too, because I haven't really seen a lot of netball myself. But everybody kind of was just around the whole day, kind of soaking it in. And then, of course, what was nice, obviously there's food and snacks and drinks. There were some teams who got knocked out, let's say, on the Sunday, and so they had a big circle and they were, doing a court session on the grass bank. And it was cool. It kind of like reminded you of like a absolute vibe. You go on a weekend with your friends and they just happen to be there because of whatever sport they're playing. So very much enjoyed it. That's why I think it's very cool that we get the word out there now about teams signing up for June, playing all these different sports, or just come along for the party and the vibe.
Mitch, I don't know if you were going to say something.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the thing. We were talking, and after the first time I'd seen the event in all its glory, and how cool it would be if you went with like a multi-sport group of mates. So, you go with a netball, a rugby team, and a hockey team, all under the same banner, a big old crew. You do your sport, you finish up, you have a party, along with a few of the other teams as well. And that's the thing. It's like the collaboration, because everyone gets it. And that's the beauty of these sort of multi-sport festival type events, which the Algarve Sevens is one of the best.
Yeah, Tom, let's pick on that. I know that you both know a lot of the people who are with the Jesters, with the Lionesses, etc. So, what was their opinion about the Algarve Sevens? What was the feedback you heard? Can you share some of the intel you gathered from those 2 days?
Well, it's good speaking of the players, but also the coaches, because a lot of the coaches, have been going around, particularly on the rugby, been doing the circuit for years, and they've been everywhere and they've seen it all. And so for the coaches to say, this is a really worthwhile tournament for us to come to, they are identifying that not only are they getting good competition, but they're getting looked after. Some of the small things, there's a really good group of staff at the event that just make sure that all the little things that can be annoying if you're traveling with a group of people are all ironed out. And I think that sense of being looked after, coupled with the ability to go and have a really good ding-dong competition with other high-quality teams from across the world, is what people want. So coaches were very happy. Players were super happy. On the players, let's not forget, there's international level rugby players that we were commentating on, which made for a really high standard of tournament, particularly as you mentioned the Jesters already, but then some of the teams that come out of France for the competition. These are some of the top players in Europe that we're getting to see take the sevens field out there.
Yeah, Dallen. I saw you talking with David Mob-Smith for quite a while. You talk also with the 70s, which a team that won the Algarve Sevens elite men's competition once, and they are always very much fun. Some players in the last day lose on the forest next to the pitch, but that happens everywhere in the world. So what did you hear? What was the word out there about the tournament?
Yeah, the word on the street, is that, like Mitch is saying, to get that balance of a very competitive event, but also a social fun gathering and a great location, that's hard to strike, all three. So some events like the Dubai Sevens is an interesting one because it's in the middle of the desert, right, in the middle of nowhere, and I get that it has to be because of the location. But where we are in the Algarve, you're just a few minutes from being on the beach, which is amazing. And so and as we said, that stadium's amazing. So yeah, the coaches loved it. It's the number one event that they put on the calendar. I've already spoken to a handful of the American teams that are coming over next year. So some teams are going to bring women's social, some are going to bring men elite. So I like that there's a varying level of competition, which is cool too. Because sometimes you go to events it's only professional, or you go to events it's only social, right? So to strike that balance, I think the Algarve have done that. And so the coaches, obviously, this is the event they're signing up for. So I know with that, every division is going to get better. There's going to be, obviously, we're going to be selling up sooner than we've happened in years gone by, which is great.
Dallen, if you could summarize the Algarve Sevens in one word, what would it be?
Ooh, one word. I like to go to champagne. Is always something I love to talk about in terms of rugby and the spectacular. But I think it's really just the highest level that they can be with the most excitement and the vibe. So yeah, champagne will be my one word. Mitchie?
Well, to stay in line with you, Dallen, and because
no champagne. No, you cannot say champagne.
No, because we always compliment each other so well. I was going to say, describe the Algarve Sevens in one word: fizzing.
Oh, okay.
Lovely. Exactly.
Fizzing. Okay, that's good. Now, gents, most of the rugby fans know you very well, but as you both stated, the Algarve Sevens is much more than rugby. It's all other sports, and there's also fans hearing that coming to play golf or beach tennis, beach hockey, going to the swimming. So let's go shortly to the bit about the two of you. So I'll start with Tom. So you played for England for a long time. You were one of the main faces of the roster. Don't say you weren't. England Sevens. So nobody starts asking how was Eddie Jones working with you. He didn't. So Mitch, how was your career with England? Was sevens one of the greatest times of your life? And tell us a bit about the experience.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. Played for England Sevens and Great Britain Sevens for about 10 years, which is just the biggest treat you could ask for. Grew up loving rugby. It was a sport that I really enjoyed since I was about 8 years old. So to be able to go around the world, explore some cool new places and cool new venues whilst doing something I loved was the dream. And got to do it with some great people as well. And I think that's one of the biggest things I learned coming out of playing professional rugby sevens was the people you get to hang out with, and not only on your team but getting to mix with the other players. So I was lucky to do that for a long time. And what I've realized is since I've hung up the boots, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm getting to hang out with cool people and still hanging out around the rugby ball. So yeah, I've got the I just can't scratch the itch enough, I think, when it comes to the sport. But yeah, I had some great times playing. Now quite happy watching
and commentating. In the cool scale, is Dallen on 10, 5, or -1?
Depends what shirt he's wearing.
Oh, okay, this shirt now.
I do. Mitchie will laugh at me. I was just covering the Rugby 10s championship here in California, and every day I'd take 4 different shirts, and every 2 hours I'd change. So people are like, "What is going on with this guy changing his shirts?" You know, got to get the Tsunami logo out there.
Oh well, you in the shirts.
Exactly. But listen, I want to go back to Mitchie quickly. So I was very lucky as a commentator. I got to commentate when Mitchie was playing for GB Sevens, you know, captaining aside, and then also at the Sevens World Cup. So I think, Mitchie, one of your last tries you scored, I happened to be commentating that game. You scored a beautiful kick-through try. So it's very cool for me to have seen Mitchie, obviously, as a player. And then we get to work together, like we commentated the Rugby World Cup in France together, and then the Algarve Sevens. So it's pretty cool to have tracked his career. And then also, I forgot to say, when Mitchie was playing in Major League Rugby in Los Angeles, and he was known as Mr. Hollywood, that's a different story altogether.
Yeah, we'll go to the
Well,
Mr.
how long have we got? We could do a few memories on that one.
Oh, well, we don't have that long, but I promise we will come back to that bit one day. Dallen, and you already said that you are a commentator. You commented on Tom's some tries. You are one of the voices of the World Series. So, but let's backtrack a bit. So, who were you as a rugby player?
Well, I'll say you this. As a young kid growing up in South Africa, I was obsessed with rugby from 3 or 4 years old, and still am at 45 years of age. So it's just been there and have been amazing community for me to tap into. The game itself, obviously, obsessed with, and I got an opportunity, incidentally, having emigrated to America, or originally gone on a holiday, married my wife. Still together, by the way, 19 years married. So would you believe it? And then I got a chance to play sevens for the USA. Like, I didn't know you could play for another country. Didn't know that was a thing. So because I hadn't played for South Africa, I actually got a chance to play on the Seven Series for 3 years. So yeah, like Mitch was saying, dream come true to play the sport you love, to represent your family as you went. And my favorite memory of all time is my wife's family had never met my parents, and we were already married, right, in America. And they flew across, my family, from South Africa, and watched us play at the USA Sevens at Petco Park in San Diego. So both families got to meet. They got to watch rugby. Verity parents, my wife, for the first time, got to see Sevens live, and I was there playing with the USA. So the dream come true.
Did you have a good tournament? Did you play well?
Well, I was wearing gloves, so that is something I definitely regret.
Oh, yeah.
Very embarrassing, very embarrassing. No, but we did well. No, I think we did well. We were top 8, which is great, because at that point the US wasn't a core team, and so to finish in the top 8 was pretty good.
I think you were wearing the rugby gloves before they were cool, though, Dallen. I think maybe you set the trend.
I think so.
Mitchie's too kind. He's hired. Mitchie's hired again for 2025.
Dallen, let's go for the most memorable win of your long career. So please tell us.
Well, okay. Now this is nothing to do because Mitch is from England, right? But I will say this. So we had a unique situation. We're playing in the Adelaide Sevens in Australia. The field itself scoreboard was a cricket scoreboard. So people would manually put up the score, right? So that was a unique situation. So we're playing a knockout game against England. And Ben Gollings is in the England side. He's their ultimate playmaker. And we get to full time, and we're 2 points ahead. Whistle goes. So we jumping up and down the United States, celebrating one of our first wins against England, and the fact that Ben Gollings, who's somebody I'd looked up to, obviously in the sevens field, we'd beaten them, and we going off the field celebrating. And the referee comes back to us, says, "I'm so sorry, we made a mistake with the scoreboard. It's tied." So because it's a knockout game, you have to go back right now and finish the game. We're going to play, the final score wins. And so we're like, what? So we thought we had won. We go back in the field, we kick off, we go again, and the ball bounces our way, and we score, and we win again. So we beat England twice.
Oh, fight the system. Oh, well.
I love that. I don't think I've ever heard that story, Dallen.
No. Well, there we go.
That's
Breaking
good.
news here first, and it was against England too, which is quite funny. But yeah, I would say that was definitely a funny and special moment.
Very
Well,
good.
I think that's the moment Tom decided to become a sevens player, just he could defeat.
Yeah, I can't let that happen again.
Tom, and yours, most memorable win, if you can pick one.
Do you know what? I think certainly one of them was when we won the tournament in Cape Town and we beat South Africa in the final, 2016, at the start of that series, and it was just an amazing experience from start to finish. Right from listening to the South African crowd sing the anthem. There weren't many people singing our anthem, so we just enjoyed listening to theirs, and it was amazing. Everyone in the stadium singing that. And then to kind of enjoy that roller coaster of a game, but come out on the right side of it, and then just watch the stadium empty at a rate of knots. Everyone had enough. Only a few dedicated England fans stuck around for our lap of honor at the end, which was just an amazing experience, and one of those where you think, "Wow, so lucky to do this."
Now, Tom, I'm going to be evil to you. Infamy moments. Dallen, before the show, said to me that Tom has a very infamous story or something that he's embarrassed about. So I know it has something to do with MLR and something of a reveal. Can you tell us?
Well, I'm not that embarrassed about it, and I wouldn't mind if you dredge up the video and it sees the light of day again on socials. Feel free. In fact, I'll even send it to you myself. But there was a bit of a backstory: is that I went to the Giltinis as an injured player, so I felt like a bit of a spare part. I wasn't really adding value on the field, so I had to try and add some value off the field. So when they came to me and suggested that I might take part in the new jersey reveal, they just got a new jersey and new kit. They needed couple of people to do a little video for social media. I said, yeah, sure, why not? And then I saw what we were going to do, and I said, hell yeah, why not? It involved. We're gonna have to send it out to the people, but it involved a makeshift wind machine, my hair flowing, a bit of lip syncing, the classic pink and blue Giltinis colors. It was a real vibe.
It was such a vibe. No, honestly, it wasn't embarrassing. I only bring it up because it was iconic and hilarious and amazing. And yes, cue the video.
Well, a few weeks later as well, I ended up on a electric motorbike going around the pitch in a pair of Speedos with holding the Giltinis flag. So that was two moments. That was before I'd even set foot on the pitch as a player, even before I'd donned the jersey. Two contributions, two of my finest moments.
Well, we're gonna have to dig up those moments. Well, but Dallen, you are laughing so hard there. You have to tell us an embarrassing moment. So come on, and don't do something like little embarrassing. Go full embarrassing, please.
Well, I'll go to a playing one. It got me thinking about this the other day. So there was a kick through, and it actually probably was against England as well. And I happened to be the sweeper in the game, so I was running back and trying to slide on the ball. But I don't quite know what happened because I completely mistimed it. I missed the ball, went into the upright of the posts, and didn't knock myself out, but obviously it was like a train wreck. And then the English player just slowed down, picked the ball, and scored. So obviously embarrassing when we were doing the video footage, going through our coach's chat the next week. Embarrassing, what were you doing here in this situation? So yeah, that's definitely a playing one for sure. So we will not find those highlights.
I was going to say, can we dredge that one up as well? We'll definitely get that one out there.
Dallen, you have to show that moment, please. Please dig it up. You can find it. I'm sure of it.
I can. Just give me a few years.
There was another one I saw, Dallen. I could volunteer another one from when
here we
were
go.
Come on, let's go.
No, from when we were commentating, we talk about this a lot. It's the second time in 2 weeks I've brought this up. When we were commentating at the World Cup in France, the 23-15s World Cup, and the revelers were out in the town at one of the fan zones, and there was a bit of a touch field set up. A couple of young kids were out there. They kind of been older than about 8 or 9 years old. Dallen just couldn't resist, so he got on there, starts getting a bit physical with the kids, sidestepping them, scoring tries for fun. making the kids. I'm pretty sure some of the kids cried off the back of that game,
No.
and I just stood on the sideline, just shaking my head, couldn't believe what I was seeing.
That's
You were there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was magical. Well, thank you both of you. Just to wrap things off, on the 6th of June of 2025, you will be on Algarve Sevens. I know you are very looking forward to it, not only because you're going to work there, because you want to enjoy it, as it has that old school Sevens type of vibe, but also brings so much more than that. Um, just to finish things off, and in 30 seconds, how would you sell the Algarve Sevens to a team that, from any sport, that never placed a foot on Vila San Antonio and in Algarve Sevens? So, Dallen, you can start. How would you sell to that team the biggest event of the Sevens June season?
Number one, if you love sunshine and you love the coast, you love the beach, you love the energy and the vibe that is a city like that, you want to taste a new culture, unbelievable food, cuisine, the drinks will be full, the golden nectars will be flowing. The sport is amazing. Whatever sport you choose, it really is an event not to be missed. Whether you come for the holiday, you come for the party, you come for individual sports, the whole atmosphere, it really is one of the best events on the planet. Mitchie and I can't wait, and he's going to get a haircut there as well. So come for that as well.
Oh, that's a very strong promise that was not made by Mitchell, but well, it's going to stick. Mitchell, Mitchell, please sell the idea of the Algarve Sevens, please.
I'm a bit worried about the length of the barbecue. If I sit in there that's going to take a while. Look, who doesn't love making memories with your mates? And it's one of the best ways of doing that, as we know, is going out and enjoying sport, playing, watching. But doing that in an amazing place in the world, in the summer, out in the Algarve, it just doesn't get any better than that. And it's easy to go through life without taking the plunge on some of these things. You never regret it. Get on down. We'll see you there. Can't wait. Algarve Sevens 2025. It's going to be real.
Shut the gate, champagne rugby, sevens in the sun, fun in the sun.
Absolutely fizzing.
Champagne, fizzing, fun, whatever. You're going to be there, I'm sure of it. 6th to 9th of June. Start if you have a team from any of the sports you talked about. Please book your place in it. The vacancies are very short at the moment. Dallen and Tom have provided some teams to come, so please look to it. Be quick, because then you just have to enjoy it as a spectator. And it's quite a show. You can see Dallen cutting his hair, or shaving Mitch as one. So let's see. It's going to be very interesting, I'm sure. So thank you, and stay with us for more fun in the sun. And it's